Coming up, a service to honor persons who lost their lives during Hurricane Dorian postponed. The area vice president of the Bahamas Union of Teachers weighs in on virtual learning. And it's all about Real Talk Live. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Bahamas, I'm Shashina Roll-Farquharson. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news tonight, another national lockdown begins at 9 o'clock tonight and ends at 5 a.m. on Monday, April 20th, per the Emergency Powers COVID-19 Lockdown Number 3 Order 2020. Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis, releasing another amendment to that order today. Landscapers and irrigation personnel can conduct business this weekend between the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Now, grocery stores across the country can operate between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. tomorrow. But in New Providence and Grand Bahama, stores will only open for essential workers. Now, in Abaco, tomorrow, gas stations can open between the hours of 6 a.m. and 7 p.m. to refuel generators, and non-governmental water production companies and depots can open as well. And due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the Disaster Reconstruction Authority announced the further postponement of the National Service of Remembrance, originally planned for March 28th in Dundastown, Abaco, for those persons who lost their lives during Hurricane Dorian. In this report, the managing director of the DRA provides more details on why that decision was made. Natalia Hall has more.
It was a decision agreed upon by the Ministry of Disaster Preparedness, Management and Reconstruction, the Bahamas Christian Council, and the Abaco Christian Council. Managing Director of the Disaster Reconstruction Authority, Kay Forbes-Smith, says there are safety issues as it relates to holding public events at this time due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
We have spoken to the president of the Abaco Christian Council. We've also spoken to the vice president of the Bahamas Christian Council. And it is felt that we will have to determine when would be the most appropriate time to have a burial for those persons who lost their lives during Hurricane Dorian.
She says the president of the Christian Council spoke with all of the pastors in Abaco.
And out of respect for family members, feels that the object of this memorial service is to have a proper Christian burial for those persons who lost their lives. And so the Disaster Reconstruction Authority is working with both Christian councils, the Bahamas, as well as the Abaco Christian Council, and we are very cognizant that we must acquiesce to what they are saying in their community. It's very important to listen to the community. And so, unfortunately, again, we cannot commit to any burial at this time.
Now, the Disaster Reconstruction Authority notes that honoring those who lost their lives during Hurricane Dorian is a priority for all concerned. A new date will be announced for the service when conditions allow for the event to take place in a manner fitting to remember those who lost their lives due to Hurricane Dorian. It's Talia Hall, ZNS Network News.
Thanks, Tally. Well, as we would have mentioned earlier, the nation will continue to be on lockdown every weekend during the month of April from 9 a.m. Fridays to 5 a.m. on Mondays. And while many residents have begun to come to grips with this new reality, others are still finding it hard to cope. Tonight, a local clergyman is encouraging residents to stay positive during this difficult time. Jamila Mizik reports.
Senior pastor at Central Zion Baptist Church in 8 Mile Rock, Reverend Dr. Elvis Burrows, is commending the government for their efforts in trying to prevent the spread of the COVID-19 disease. He says he believes the government and health officials have our best interests at heart and persons should cooperate with them.
For those of us who are Christians, should pray for them daily that they would make the right decisions as they make these difficult decisions in order to keep us safe and healthy, because, it doesn't make sense for us to have a population running around who is not healthy. And so, yes, it is difficult, yes, it is hard, but I think what has been done is for our good, and I want to encourage our folks to just to obey the rules at this time, obey the curfews, obey the washing of the hands, the social distancing, and to stay at home as much as possible.
Pastor Burrows says he knows this time is a difficult one and many are anxious and worrying about what tomorrow will bring, but he's encouraging them to have hope.
Been through hard times before. We may not have been through this type of crisis before, but we've seen hard times, whether it was through hurricanes or some other disaster situations. And at the end of the day, it always seems to work out to our good. And I believe, as hard as this may be, it may take longer, it may not be easy, but I think at the end of the day, we would get through it.
He says it is also important to be disciplined at this time.
To be conservative with your resources, not to be wasteful, to really be disciplined, maybe even teach our children, because maybe they see plenty, they don't have to consume plenty, but this is a time for us to learn some discipline that we may not have been accustomed to or learned in the good times. We have to apply good economic sense, good spiritual sense, good physical sense as we go through this crisis, and not be wasteful. That hard times are ahead of us, and God expects that we would be good stewards of whatever we have as we go through this crisis.
Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
Well, the Ministry of Education encouraging parents and students to use this time wisely by signing up for their virtual learning platform, which contains lessons and information from teachers across the country. Here on Grand Bahama, the area vice president of the Bahamas Union of Teachers says that teachers are receiving the platform quite well.
Teachers are employees. Teachers don't decide.
Area Vice President of the Bahamas Union of Teachers, Quentin LaRota, noting that teachers have been advocating for a virtual learning program for some time now, and some have even began the efforts on their own. With the rollout of the government's virtual platform, LaRota says that teachers are receiving it well, and many have signed up and submitted information.
If you recall, the teachers were the first to initiate, even before we had this kind of lockdown, these ideas about communicating with the students when they're using the internet and virtually, when there are times of trouble. And when it happened, teachers began to reach out to their students, particularly the exam students, because we still had in mind that we would wanted to sit the exams. And so when the ministry launched their platform and the channel, I believe that most of the teachers endorse it, they understand it, they care about the students, and they want to try to provide some level of education while we're dealing with this pandemic.
However, he says there has been one major issue, the manner in which teachers are addressed by subject officers in the nation's capital.
Some of the subject officers, when they contact the teachers, the manner in which they do it, sometimes I think it's uncalled for. And we're all trying to work through this together, and you need cooperation. And I believe that this is a time when you motivate and inspire people to give what they can, and they are willing and they're trying. They love their students, they want to assist, but a little humanity in your communication with the teachers will be good. That is the only sort of complaint I've gotten so far.
He notes that both teachers and students here in the North are not only dealing with adjustments due to the pandemic, but many are still trying to adjust post-Hurricane Dorian.
We have a lot of students who don't have, particularly in Grand Bahama and Abaco, they don't have laptops or tablets. Not all of them do. Some of them don't even, they're still displaced. And their homes that don't have internet, some of them at homes don't even have electricity yet. Still, with this pandemic happened while we're in recovery mode. And so with that understanding, particularly those people who contact people in Freeport and Abaco from Nassau, I know you didn't go through Hurricane Dorian, and you may only have an appreciation for the pandemic part of it, but you have to expand your mind and imagine what it's been like to go through a hurricane like Dorian, total devastation, and then put the pandemic on top of that. And then when you contact people, you be mindful that that may have been their experience. They're trying to hold things together.
LaRota is also admonishing principals to be mindful of the requests that they make of teachers.
Shouldn't we ask the teachers to come to school or to pick up books or registers or any of those things now? The schools are closed officially. The schools have not received any exemption in the order. You put teachers at risk. Those who would listen. I'm trouble with law enforcement. They're on the road and they've been asked, where are you going? You can't just leave school because the police know the schools are closed. And so I would ask any administrator to refrain from that and the avenues of communication and instructions provided by the ministry, your platform and your channel, that we comply with those, and that our requests be consistent with working on those platforms.
He is also commending all of those teachers that have been going above and beyond and finding creative ways to engage their students.
I want to congratulate them and give them all the praise that they are worthy and deserving of, and thank them for the example that they're setting for everyone. And like I said, a lot of those people started that before the ministry developed a platform or before they had any idea of the way forward with these things, or while they were in their analysis and planning stage. Some teachers were already out there reaching out to their students, finding ways to educate them, and we saw the same example after Dorian, where teachers were going the extra mile.
Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
In other news, the Department of Inland Revenue advises the business community that VAT filings are still due on April 21st, 2020. Although some businesses may not have access to all their latest records at home due to the COVID-19 related closures, they're able to file VAT returns based on an estimate of turnover for the period and submit amendments later. While there will be no penalty for businesses who submit amendments for filings during the emergency order, the penalties associated with late filings are still in place. During the shutdown, Inland Revenue continues to operate all its core functions online, including processing new business license applications, real property tax filings, business license renewals, and the establishment of payment plans for existing businesses. There is also a drop-off and pickup service in place at the Office of the Prime Minister here in Freeport during regular business hours for individuals submitting documents for VAT stamping and to apply for first home exemptions. The department is also pleased to announce that applications for the tax deferral and tax exemption program are also now available online. Well, the Public Treasury Department providing an update on its operations during the COVID-19 pandemic. The Public Treasury continues to work remotely in compliance with established government protocols to provide core services to the public. Here in Grand Bahama, the Public Treasury will open its doors on Monday, April 20th and on Thursday, April 23rd between the hours of 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. Now, updates will be provided periodically. For queries or concerns, you can contact Jacqueline Williams at JACQUELINE Williams at bahamas.gov.bs. That number is 242-352-2351. Switching gears now, police in Grand Bahama are investigating the circumstances surrounding an alleged drowning. According to reports, police were called to the Silver Point area where they met the lifeless body of a Caucasian male on the seashore. Police say that there were no visible signs of trauma to the body and foul play is not suspected at this time. An autopsy will be performed to determine the exact cause of death. Our news team spoke to Superintendent of Silver Point Condominiums, Lena Bodie, who says she was informed by one of her tenants around 10:30 this morning that there was a body washed up on the shore.
Came in to report it to us, and then me and my security officer, Mr. Andrews, went out to the beach to discover a lifeless body, which appeared to have been washed up on the beach, although he was still wearing his sunglasses, which is a very big puzzle, but it appeared that he'd been there for a little while, although I had some mornings this morning on their morning stroll, that when we went past there was no body, so He'd obviously been washed up on the shore as far as we can establish. And so the time that we established from 7:30 to 7:50 was when it appears that the belly was washed up on our video surveillance this morning. That nobody seemed to have walked the beach since until we was informed around 10:40 this morning.
Well, Bodie says that this is the first time something like this has happened since she's been the superintendent. And when asked if she knows the individual, she says the person is not a resident of the beachfront property.
No, the police were informed. They came and did their investigation, and the body was taken away sort of forthwith. And basically all what we kind of know right now that there is a missing boat captain out there at sea from the 24th of March. And from the picture that we've seen, it could be of that man that's missing. The boat's been found, and but they've put the matter into the police hands, and they're dealing with that accordingly.
And when we come back, a Grand Bahama family expressing hope during this global crisis. Find out why when we return.